funky ass bass line.
Hello, Table Tennis World. Welcome to BP Reloaded 2011. Now, BP Reloaded has always been like this training diary that I put on YouTube, and I took a sabbatical because I got injured twice. Once in a road bike race, I cracked 2 ribs in November, and a year before that, I actually got a cut right at my Achilles heel, so I had to take off another year. But one of my students sent me a link about this discussion on about.com. So this is actually my video response. Like, I don't do typing, man. I do video now. Like, typing is old. So let's do a video response. I think it was training based your success based on formal training, and I saw some heavy hitters that were involved in the forum. I saw Larry Hodges, I saw Sean O'Neill, and those are people that know me well. They know my career, and I just kind of skimmed through it. I didn't really want to get the meat and potatoes. Just let me kind of give myself a little skim over it so I can put my input in before I read what everybody else are really saying. And I think the theme that people were saying was talent and hard work. And this video is really about another additional factor that is the major factor, and I'll use my career as a perfect example. Somebody said like Samson and myself, we were never really more than like a 2,500 player, and I don't know if I agree with that. And maybe this timeline of my success will show this reoccurring theme. Let's go back to probably the first time that I went over 2,500. I might have been 1999. I think I went to 24.99. I went to Japan the year before and trained for like 6 weeks. Went to the U.S. team trial in 99 and posted a rating of 24.99. Maybe 5 or 6 months later, I did a really big training block. I can't remember what country I was in. It might have been Sweden or somewhere. Left the U.S. Open 25.53. So that proves, just based on a training block, if you do the training block, you can achieve a rating that's higher than 2,500, and you can perform better than 2,500. And I have an asterisk. Now I can actually go back to 1996. Where I was living in Maryland. I was working at a bicycle shop. I was working at a Blockbuster. Didn't have a college degree. Training at least 25 hours a week. Don't ask me how I did it. But I was training with Todd Swears, Sean Larnigan, Chen Yunhua, Gao Jun, and Shu. Sean O'Neill came through. And I posted a rating of 26.12. I think I'm going somewhere. So I'm just gonna put an asterisk on that one from 96, but let's go back to 99. So 99, my rating practically stays over 2,500 for almost all of that year. 2000 was a slow year because of like the Olympics. So I might have been 24.70, 24.80 something. So that year I still stayed over. 2001, went into the U.S. team trials, didn't make the team. It was between me, Ashu, and Barney. Finished first alternate. Probably the most difficult thing that I experienced in my career, like being that close and like not getting it. And I went to Romania in June of 2001 and trained for 3 weeks. Came back to the US Open, went over 2,500. Went back to Romania for the fall season. Came back, stayed over 2,500. Went back in 2002, stayed over 2,500. Came back in the fall of 2002 and lived back in America. Rating dropped. I think there's a theme here. There's a theme here. So in 2002, in August, I'm contemplating living in San Jose. I kind of been approached by Dennis Davis. I stayed out there for a while. I escorted some kids to China. Unbelievable training block. Probably one of the best training blocks I had. Came back to America. beat Eric Owens, beat Jimmy Butler, beat a whole slew of good players. Just follow my rating history on USATT. And came out of the tournament 25-30. There's another occurring theme here, okay? I stayed back in America. 2003, going to the U.S. team trials, don't do well. Living in America. It's another theme, okay? So my rating drops again. Summer of 2003, I go to Romania. Come back to the U.S. Open 2003, beat Jimmy Butler. Go over 2,500 again. Occurring theme here. Okay, so everybody's talking about talent and hard work. There's something else. Spend the rest of the year in training, kind of back and forth between the U.S. and Europe. I played the German Open, didn't win a match. Was finished in 2 hours. I mean, I flew over there, checked in, and in 2 hours my tournament was over. That was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I just sit. Sunday, me, Jasna, and Whitney Ping go over to Denmark. Same thing happens. We get into Denmark, maybe Monday, and then we check in Tuesday. Tuesday morning, play a Korean player, lose. Play a Hungary player, lose. Wednesday, tournament's over again. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, relaxing, just chilling, walking around. I'm just enjoying the city. Go back to Sweden, same thing happens. But I play Robert Gardosh from Austria. Lose to him, have to play Indian player doesn't show up. I have enough. I said, I'm just getting my ass kicked over here. So I'm going home. Fly back to America the next day and fly to Baltimore. Go to Baltimore, I beat Atana Musa. I never beat Atana Musa before. Beat Kwa. I never beat Kwa before. So while everybody's talking about talent and hard work, let's assume that you're going to always work hard. And let's assume that you have some kind of talent. Okay, but the occurring theme here is you need the resources. For every time my rating went over 2,500, I had done a training block that was close to world class. That was world class. That's why I was able to perform above 2,500. And I'm happy Sean O'Neill got involved in the discussion because he helped me with a really important theme early in my career. I just got to the Olympic Training Center in 1988. He had just got back from the Olympics, which is like the pinnacle of sport. And he was kind of looking at everybody at the cafeteria table and he says, you guys aren't doing jack. You're not doing anything. So what he does is at the end of the conversation, he says, Brian, you want to go running with me? I'm talking like Jimmy Butler, Todd Swears, Darren Aritam, all of these heavy hitters are here. And he's like pointing me out. So I'm kind of like, cool, let's run. The next morning he does like a grandmother trot across the Olympic Training Center. And when he turned on Boulder Street, outside the gates of the Olympic Training Center, he took off. I mean, like an Ethiopian. So we did this run. You run down to this landfill. It was called the dump. Ran to the dump, ran up the dump. Now, mostly dumps go around. We went upside the dump like Green Beret. I'm talking about diapers and sticker bras and like broken bottles. Up 1 mile, back 1 mile, back 4 miles. So we did a 10-mile run. And he finally just put me out of my misery, maybe the last 2 miles, and he just left me. 3 days, I didn't go to school. Threw up, fever, and I hadn't been at the Olympic Training Center for a week yet. So he showed me the value of hard work. I'm not talking about just doing what's necessary. I'm talking about going above and beyond. That's 1988. 1992 I was living in Augusta. Me, Jimmy Butler, Scott Butler, Derek May, and a whole slew of heavy hitters. We had that environment. I go to the Detroit teams. I beat Sean, which at that time he was my work ethic idol because I hadn't seen anybody work that hard. And just as he shook my hand, he kind of like, okay, now you know the value of hard work because to beat me, you have to have done something that was above and beyond. So I think hard work, it has to be prevalent if you're even going to be successful. But if you don't have the resources, then you're just not going to go anywhere. And here's a perfect example. Take David Wong, give him the Brian Pace treatment. I'm almost willing to bet if you gave him the Brian Pace treatment, you wouldn't know his name. I don't think you would know his name. He would be David Wong, the investment banker. You be David Wong, the engineer. Because I don't think with what he physically has, if he was given this environment to train in and to work jobs and to go to college and to manage training, I don't think he would have been 2,700. So I think that if you're looking at an American player that has got to 2,700, that's a 2,800 player if he's given the ideal training environment, if he's given the resource. And the reason that I really wanted to get involved in this discussion is that in 2009, I was contemplating a comeback. Actually, I didn't contemplate it. I actually came back. So 2009, from May until July, I trained. Like, I'm talking about I trained full time. And you can go back and see BP Reloaded, where I trained with Nelson and I did multi-ball. And I went to the pre-US Open tournament and I beat, like, I think the guy may have been the number 2 or number 3 player in Canada, the short guy, Shin Kwai. I didn't even know the guy, because by the time I retired, he wasn't even living in America. And I kind of was just coaching. So I said, I don't even know who this guy is. But I beat him, and I said, okay, I can still play. 2,500 players don't beat 2,600 players on a regular basis. But a player that has a world class training environment, beating that player wasn't a struggle for me. And the reason that I stated this is because 2011, I've officially come out of retirement. And can you believe I got a sponsor? I can't say my sponsor's name yet, but I will soon enough. And I told my sponsor, if you're interested in me being on your team, I'm only interested about trying out for the Olympics. And to do that, I need the resources to train like a world-class player. I need the budget to travel like a world-class player. If you can't do that, don't even give me a contract. Don't approach me with a contract that's going to insult my intelligence, because I've done everything I could possibly do living in America. Look, from 1996 to 2001, I didn't lose in this whole part of the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Florida. I didn't lose. And the reason that I went to Europe is because I dominated my area. Could I went to Maryland? Yeah, tried it. Didn't work for me. Said I'm going to be in that training environment. And in that training environment, I was constantly over 2,500. What I'm going to do this time is do training blocks. I've taken everything from my career where I had a great training block, and it's all being compiled into 1 year. So I'm going to spend some time training in China, going to spend some time obviously training back in Romania. I'm going to spend some time playing the Pro Tour, and I'm going to spend some time playing in Sweden. Those are the things that created the best environment for me. But to do that, you have to have the resources. So for the person that said, I'm just nothing more than 2,500 player, I challenge that, because if you give me the resources, I'm not 2,500. I'm world class. And I think we're going to find out through BP Reloaded 2011. So I really can't afford to be talking to you right now, because I need to be training. Pace.